Hi, my name is Lindsay. I'm a revert Muslim and welcome to my YouTube channel. So in 2018, late 2018, I became friends, or early 2018, I became friends with two of my really good friends, and they were both Muslims. And one of them was from Iraq and one of them was from Somalia. And so both those friends were really serious Muslims. One of them was a hijabi and the other one was a guy, so he obviously wasn't a hijabi. And so I had questions for them about Islam because it was super interesting to me, and it was a completely new thing because I was Christian. I grew up Christian. I took my first steps in a Christian church, and my family grew up listening to Bible stories and reading me Bible stories, and we had little cassette tapes with Bible stories on them that we listened to. And so my friends were like, yeah, we'll tell you about Islam, but you have to ask questions. You have to ask questions or else we are not going to tell you anything because we don't want to force anything on you. So I was like, I respect that, that's cool. And so I started asking them questions, and they were like, oh, it's so cool that you're interested in this, we'll tell you anything you want to know. And so they gave me books, and I started reading on my own, and I started doing my own research and digging in, and one of the big things to me was Allah is the one and only God in Islam, and the Prophet Muhammad was the last prophet. And I started reading about the Prophet Muhammad and what an amazing guy he was and what an amazing person he was, and I was like, wow, I really admire and love this person, and I really love the message that God gave us, and the story of how that message came to each prophet. It's okay, this really interests me, I really agree with this. And in Christianity, it always confused me because Jesus Christ is the Son of God, but he's also the Lord, so that made no sense to me, and that always confused me growing up, and it always made me question Christianity. And so Islam made more sense to me. And so I was like, okay, I think I want to convert. I talked to the pastor at my church and asked him questions before I became Muslim. And he really didn't answer my questions, and he just confused me more and pushed me more to Islam. It made me want to convert to Islam even more. So I was like, okay, I think I want to take this step. So I went to the friend from Iraq, and I was like, hey, I want to convert to Islam. How can I do that? And they were like, okay, this is your shahada. So I repeated after them and took my shahada. And in 2019, I became Muslim. And it's kind of history after that. I am slowly on my journey of Islam, becoming closer to God and to my deen. I've obviously struggled. Huge reason why I wanted to come on to social media is because I really struggled with mental health, and Islam has helped me with my mental health. And being on social media, I've connected with a lot of other Muslims because I've been alone. There's not a huge Muslim community. One of my Muslim friends moved. My other Muslim friend is super busy at work, so I never see her. So I have no real community, and so I found a community here on social media. This is a story of how I told my parents I was Muslim. When I was 17, I made the decision to convert from Christianity to Islam, and we call that reverting because we believe that all Muslims, or all people, are born Muslim. And so I decided to become Muslim at 17 back in 2019. And this is kind of how I told my parents. Both my parents have been really supportive. My mom in the beginning was a little iffy, but alhamdulillah, they accepted it and just have embraced my new choices of life into their life. So probably back in I want to say 2021, 2022, around then I started making it more obvious that I wasn't eating pork, because I stopped eating pork in 2019, but I made it more obvious, like, that I wasn't eating pork, and that, like, during certain time of the days I'd go and hide in my room to pray. And, like, even my mom walked in one time in the middle of the night when I was practicing putting on hijabs, and, like, I kind of hid it and was like, oh my god, she saw me, like, that's bad. And I really hid it from them for probably like 4 years. So probably not even 2022, more like 2023, like probably last year. And my mom and I kind of had like a conversation. I was like, Mom, what would you do if I became Muslim? And she's like, I love you no matter what. Like, I may not support your decision, but I'll love you no matter what, and I'll always be your mom. And my dad, I kind of had a conversation with him, like, I think he knew. We were sitting on the front porch of our house, and I was like, Dad, what would you do if I didn't want to be Christian anymore? Like, what would you do if I converted to another religion? And he kind of told me, he's like, just be who you are, be who you want to be, and I'll love you no matter what and support your decision. And my parents have been really great. If you see me on TikTok, you know that I call myself a part-time hijabi. Inshallah, someday I'll become a hijabi, but I only cover my hair on the internet, and that's because my mom doesn't want me to wear the hijab, which I understand where she's coming from. It's not something she ever saw for me. And when I first became Muslim, I told them, I was like, I'm not sure if I ever want to wear the hijab, even though I know it's an obligation. And so I kind of set her up for like, oh, I don't think I'll wear it. And so she never expected that from me. And so yeah, they've always been pretty supportive. I was just scared to tell them because I was always afraid of judgment from other people. And as I've grown older, I've become less and less afraid of the judgment of other people. I was on TikTok for a while, probably like 2 years ago, and I ended up deleting that TikTok because I was so afraid of judgment from other people, and I was afraid of other people seeing it. And recently I came back because the only judgment that I should fear is Allah's. And my parents' opinion is obviously very important to me because of my parents, and even in the Quran it says that Jannah lays at your mother's feet. And I want to be respectful towards my parents and appreciate them and love them, and I don't want to disrespect them in any way. So yeah, I have a really close relationship with my parents, and I still do. My parents are amazing, wonderful people, and I love them to death and would do anything for them. And they even now have like a halal section of the freezer for me for all my meat. And like during Ramadan, my mom like made sure that I had meals and like made sure that I had food to eat when it was time to break my fast. So alhamdulillah for that, and alhamdulillah for my parents. So if you guys follow me on any social media, my Instagram or my TikTok, name shown here, if you're interested in following, go check those guys out too. You can see that I post a lot about my car because I'm a drag racer. And so this is kind of the story of how I got into that, especially as a Muslim. So it kind of started when I was 15. One of my friends was in a club called the Drag Racing Club. And I kind of joined like on a whim because she joined and we were like best buddies at the time. And I was like, okay, she joined, so I'll join too. And so I joined the drag racing club at my high school. And I came home that night and told my dad, I was like, hey dad, I joined the drag racing club at my high school. And my dad was like, no way, that's a thing. And I was like, yeah, it's a thing. And so he went out and was like, we're gonna find you a race car. I was like, hold on, wait a minute, are you serious? We're gonna find me a race car? And so we went out and found me a 1973 Chevy Nova. It looked like this at the time. I'm gonna insert a picture here. And we bought it for like $2,000. Like, it was like a rust bucket. And so my dad and I, we kind of started working on it, and we started doing like body work, and my dad put a new engine in it, and it kind of became his like project car. And like kind of a way to teach me how to like work on cars and how to like learn about cars, which I still don't know a lot about cars, so don't ask me a ton of questions. I know about my specific car, like I know like what a carburetor is and how it works and what kind of carb I have in it, and I know that it's a turbo 350 transmission and it has a 350 small block in it, and like just the basic stuff like that. I'm still learning. Inshallah, I'll learn more. But I joined the club, and my dad and I, we started working on this car, and for the first 2 years I like didn't win anything. My first 2 years, because I was racing in what's called a high school bracket, and because there's other high schools around my city racing at this track, which is called Firebird Raceway. And so my racing wasn't doing really well. I wasn't really understanding it. I was losing, and the car wasn't doing super good. And so that was my sophomore and junior year. And then my senior year at high school, I won a race. I was like, wow, I won the first race of the season, because there's 4 high school races. And I won the first race of the season. I was like, Dad, we just won. We just won the first race of the season. And so that was super exciting. My dad and I celebrated. And then we won the second race of the season. And we're like, dang, we just won second place, our first place in the second race of the season. And then the third race of the season comes up and I get second place. I was like runner up, and I lost to a really nice, like wonderful girl. So I was okay with losing, like she deserved the win too. And then I can't remember, I don't think I won the 4th race of the season, but I was high enough in points that I won the track championship for high school. And so I took home the track championship for high school my senior year. And now, at the conference, like they're holding for the champions, I was approached by a really awesome organization called Project Filter. And they're like, hey, do you want to be an athlete? I was like, heck yeah, I want to be an athlete. So what Project Filter is basically, it's for here in Idaho, because I'm in Idaho. It's to help Idahoans stop smoking and using tobacco and nicotine. It's a really awesome organization that I get to speak for and that I get to work with, and that I get a partnership with. And so now I'm racing in a category called Sportsman, and I race alumni, and I race, it's called Outlaw Street out at Firebird Raceway, and my dad and I are working super hard to bring home some more wins, and just trying to keep things halal as well, and being close to my faith, but also doing the things that I love. And I'm so grateful to my dad. Alhamdulillah for my dad. It wouldn't be possible without him. It's kind of like our thing. And my grandpa, he's also part of it. Both my grandpas are part of it and are super supportive.